On the student loans case, the Supreme Court's going to hear tomorrow. Does the president believe there's a viable plan B if the court strikes down the plan? And more broadly, how is the administration preparing for that possibility?
So, and I think I've said this before, we are very much confident in our legal authority here. That's why we've taken it, that's why the Department of Justice has taken it all the way to the Supreme Court. And so, again, we're confident in our legal authority. We're going to see what the Supreme Court decides, but clearly the oral argument is happening tomorrow at 10 a.m. before the U.S. Supreme Court, so I'll leave that to the Department of Justice. But what we want to remind American people more broadly is how this program is going to give tens of millions of Americans across the country a little bit of a breathing room that you hear from the president, who says this a lot. That's part of his economic plan, to make sure that as we are coming out of COVID, as we're, remember, we were releasing the pause, right, lifting the pause on student loans, and also by doing this, giving American families a little bit of an opportunity to start a family, to buy a home, and that's how we're seeing this plan and this process. It's unfortunate that some Republican officials across the country think differently. They don't think that Americans need a little breathing room. They don't think that tens of millions of Americans who have gone through what we've gone through, this is kind of goes into all of the questions that I've been getting, right, about the our economic plan. Is it working? What is it that we're doing? This is all part of this, right, giving the American people a little breathing room, and you have Republican officials who don't agree with this and who want to make it more difficult for Americans to get that relief.
The president's going to put out a plan soon on Social Security. Senator Sanders would like to see an expansion of benefits. He'd like to see that paid through ending payroll taxes on higher income Americans. How does the president assess this, and does he think you could actually expand Social Security benefits while still strengthening the long-term viability of the system?
So what I can say is, more broadly, the president has not endorsed a bill at this time. I know you're asking me about Senator Sanders' bill, so he hasn't done that. We always welcome proposals from members of Congress and how to extend Social Security solvency without cutting benefits or increasing taxes on anyone making less than $400,000. Look, but what we see right now and what the president is focused on is the immediate threat that we've been hearing from Republicans for some time on cutting Social Security, on cutting Medicare. And so, look, we're gonna fight that. The president said you heard him during the State of the Union. He was very, very, very strong and very clear about how he's going to be a fighter for Social Security and a fighter for Medicare. As I've mentioned, the president's going to have a budget that he's going to put forth next week. No, not next week, March 9th. I can't remember where we are in the month, but on March 9th, and he puts it at the feet of Republicans in Congress and say, okay, what is your proposal? What is your transparent proposal to the American people? What are you putting forth? We're going to be ready on March 9th and show that to the American people and ready to have that conversation. Okay.